Hello everybody, hope you're doing fantastically well. It's Connor here and we are back with another episode of, I don't even know what this is everyone, it's just some sort of daily Leeds content that we're updating you guys with. I know there's loads of stuff that you guys are asking me about in terms of my thoughts on this, my thoughts on the Villa game, you know, my KG and Brownie's thoughts on things. And just to update you guys, we will be back with the debrief tonight. So I know a lot of you will be excited about that one. It's going to be the return of the debrief, the return of the Max, plural. You know, we've got three good guys on there. So Max is, in my opinion, you know, return of the Mac, return of the good people. So yeah, we're back tonight, which is going to be great. We've got some bonus content as well. I always say to you guys, head on over to the Patreon account for some bonus stuff over there. Link is going to be in the description below. But without any further ado, we've got some stuff to get through today. Let me just push this chair out of the way. It's doing my nutting. And yeah, we're back, everybody. Let's get in some of your comments. We're going live again. Morning, Connor. Says Stephen. Philip says, yes, Connor lad, proper smashing out the content for us. Nice one. Anytime, mate. If I've got seconds and I'm not working all the time, I will 100% come on here. Remy says, let's hope it's going to be for January signings. Ryan says, feels like these 6 games have been a pre-season. It all starts now. Ian's in the building. Hello, my friend. He's even selling 11 Sports to DAZN. Right, a lot of you might be questioning what on earth is going on with Andrea Radrizzani. Why has Connor put the title as Radrizzani agreeing a deal with another company? Well, after weeks of rumours, DAZN have confirmed that 11 Sports has been essentially acquired. It's not 11 Sports as well. There's a group. That's what it's called, 11 Group. That's what the business is known as, giving them an even greater coverage of offering football. Businesspeople.it report that 11 Group, which is Andrea Radrizzani's business, which was founded by the Leeds United owner, obviously, is now part of the wider organisation. There's no indication given the value of the sale or what this could do for the Italian businessman's finances. Everything at the minute, when we're talking about Andrea Radrizzani, is amplified, obviously, because in my opinion, and I think in a lot of your guys' opinion, Leeds United need a takeover this summer for us to progress into that upper echelon of the Premier League. It's interesting, this, isn't it? He'll have acquired a hell of a lot of money from this deal. Will that see him over in terms of financial? I mean, financial stability is something that he's definitely got. He's a millionaire, for goodness sake. But has this, you know, enabled him to acquire a little bit more venture when it comes to money, to be able to then sell Leeds United on in the summer? You know, there's a lot of people making links there. There's a lot of people discussing where he is in comparison to where he was when he first acquired Leeds United and all this sort of good stuff. Yeah, I mean, he started the 11 Group in 2015, obviously bought football, broadcast rights in markets across Europe and then moved to Asia as well. So yeah, I mean, you're going to see his wealth astronomically rise now, aren't you, being part of that, you know, being with the DAZN move 100%. So it's going to be fascinating to see that, everybody. Really interesting to see what happens with Andrea Radrizzani now. And Nakata says, can't wait to hear. Afternoon from Sweden. Took my lunch break just in time, says Helvetti. Hello, my friend. 5:10 in the morning from Wisconsin. Absolutely love that. I'll tell you what, Kenneth, I was up early this morning. I had a beer last night, and beer always wrecks my sleep. It wrecks my sleep. So, yeah, there's going to be 2 streams today, so I hope you guys are excited by this one. El says Radrizzani couldn't strike a match. But, yeah, going to be fascinating to see what happens there with regards to Andrea. And I think a move is imminent for Leeds United to be taken over fully by that company, by San Francisco 49ers. Willie Nonto played last night. He earned his 6th senior cap for Italy, an incredible feat to say he's only 18 years of age in their 2-0 win over Hungary on Monday night. Nonto played 65 minutes in Group A 3 decider, but he's got a little bit of hammer. Tutto Mercato and other Italian newspapers have gone in a little bit on Nonto from last night, essentially calling him a little Messi, poor in the final third. Apparently, according to Tutto Mercato, they've said Mancini asks him not to give reference points to his opponents and actually does not give any, even if it is at the time evanescent. He has merits on the goal that unlocks the game. He understands the others, but unfortunately, it's not his ideal match because his positioning can be poor. So it's interesting interesting to see that's been 3 or 4 Italian websites that have been translated into English this morning. Apparently he didn't have a great game, but he's 18 years of age. I don't understand why media outlets absolutely smash down any sort of youth products we have in this country and across Europe. But the English, the Spaniards, the Italians are especially vicious when it comes to player ratings, and it looks like Willian Gnonto had mixed reviews last night, but he did one of the goals. He was a massive contributor for that. So I don't really understand how you can absolutely hammer him for that rating. I don't know if any of you guys watched it last night. Let me know in the comment section below if you did watch the Italian game last night. England were on last night, everybody, weren't they? And that was fun, wasn't it? Watching England's just so much fun. I absolutely detest watching England. It is so boring, as I'm sure you could guess from my Twitter last night. I mean, I had to get up this morning and maybe delete a couple of tweets because I just thought to myself, I'm giving England way too much attention here. But, after I've come on here and said to you guys numerous times that I'm not interested in England, I will watch them. I'm interested in them when they get to major competitions, but just how awful the football is. I mean, that first half, 0-0, and there's loads of people saying, I'm watching Willian Gnonto, I'm watching Italy, I'm watching all these games instead of England, and I just thought it was so interesting that there were so many Leeds fans doing that and not actually watching England. Because you can be a Leeds fan, it doesn't mean that you're from England. Of course, we know that from the fan phone-ins. There's people from all over the world who support Leeds United. That's why I try not to hone in England so much on this channel. But by God, it is dreadful. And the only interesting point I ever had with England was with Calvin, right? Calvin was the main point of watching England from my perspective anyway, and now obviously he's not a Leeds player. It's just not interesting, and it was dire again. Morning, Connor from Mallorca. Hello, my friend. Good day. The great Sir Robert Covington. Dominic says, what moves can you see the 49ers putting into the club? Obviously taking on stadium expansion, but it is the team that the team needed to improve first. Yeah, Dominic, I think what you can expect from the 49ers is a lot when it comes to the expansion of the stadium, the facilities in and around. Like, if you actually look at the 49ers and the infrastructure, it's been dramatically improved in the past sort of 10, 15 years. It's a magnificent stadium. And I think that's what they're going to be utilised for, commercialism, globalisation of Leeds United, which is going to put us on the map, obviously, because I still don't think we're there yet. I still think we need that extra push. And hopefully, as I've just said, pushing the team on into the upper echelon. Like, I think a lot of people think that it is on the pitch, but a lot of advertising your club is off the pitch. It's facilities. It's being able to say, hypothetically, Cody Gakpo, this is what we've got to offer you. We've got to offer you X, Y, and Z on the pitch. But guess what? We've got this facility. We've got Ellen Road, which is fantastic. We've got Thorpe Arch, which we've taken to another level, and all this sort of good stuff, because you've got to attract the player to the area as well. The player's not just going to be attracted by a coach. That's not it. You look at Tottenham Hotspur, the whole reason for doing the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the brand new stadium, is to attract the elite players as well to the club, the elite managers, the elite players, elite staff. That's what it's all for. So it's the whole package. It's not just on the pitch. And I think, if I'm being honest with you, that is where Leeds is. Let me just lower this a little bit. But I think that is where Leeds are missing out a little bit. We all know Ellen Road is a magnificent stadium, but I think it's seen better days. The facilities around Thorpe Arch are exceptional, but there is, I've spoken to a few people who are down there and they believe that it's been improved, but it is still a little bit dated when you look at other Premier League stadiums and, top 10, top 15 stadiums, and that will come with time. But I think the 49ers have to come in now because Leeds need a cash injection facility-wise. And I think in time as well, after investing loads into the facilities, getting players over, being that attractive proposition that Leeds United then will be with the infrastructure, that hopefully will then entice top players to come to Leeds United. But it's going to be a slow process. Leeds needs updating. We've been out of the Premier League for 16 years. We're not at that level yet where we can attract. And this has been my whole argument with proven players who Leeds have been going for. When you look at players like Cody Gakpo, when you've looked at players like Rodrigo De Paul, when you look at players like Matthias Cunha, these players that have been on the list, Charles de Ketelaere, all these players, don't get me wrong, we've had Rafinha. I don't know if he was in the known quantity that the other four I've just mentioned were in when attracting, those players' sort of status when Leeds were in for them. I don't know if they were at the level. I don't know if Rafinha was at the level of those four I've just mentioned. but it's always going to be difficult to be able to entice those players in because of what we've got to offer at the minute, which isn't a lot, and then on the pitch, it's not incredible either. So yes, a long-winded answer, I should say, to your question is the fact that we do need improvements on the pitch, but Leeds do need dramatic improvements off the pitch, because I still don't think it's good enough at the minute. Please let me know what you think in that respect. Shuey says Ellen Road is a dump. I know a lot of people have Listen, I don't like saying it, and I don't think Ellen Road is a dump because it's historical. It's magnificent in terms of an old stadium. You look at Goodison Park, and it's probably on par with that. But obviously Everton are moving to their new stadium. I believe it's next year. Leeds do need that next step at the minute, and I think we are held back a little bit. I know fans are going to be really upset by that. I know we're not going to be moving, but the expansion of Ellen Road, the modernisation of Ellen Road does need to happen, and that's where the 49ers are going to be massive. They always miss these, coming late constantly. Hey Luke, you can go on the replay, mate. Good day, mate. There's a load of Aussies in. Hello, Australians. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. I'm just going to get into a few of your comments as well. I want this to be a discussion as well most mornings before we get into more the news that you guys have tuned in for as well. I think it's good to have a mix of discussion and topical points and stuff like that. Connor, what do you think will happen with our young strikers going forward? Willie G, Sonny P. I was like a rap, doesn't it? Matteo Joseph, Joe Gelhardt, Sam Greenwood, more midfield now, and Max Dean. To be honest, mate, I think there's the obvious ones who are going to be pushed up. I don't think Gelhardt's in that bracket anymore. I think he is in the first team. He's an established first team player. I would also say that with Greenwood, and I think Greenwood is a midfielder now. I think we all know that. I'm still yet to see him take a good free kick, by the way, on Academy Dreams on Amazon Prime. He's apparently this specialist free kick taker. I've not seen enough of it for the first team. He hits it over and hits the wall frequently. But yeah, in terms of Matteo Joseph, it looks like he's developing well. Perkins, I mean, we mentioned it on yesterday's stream. We spoke a lot about Perkins. If you want to go check that out, make sure you do so. He looks like a real player and someone who could at least challenge Joe Gelhardt in terms of the profile of striker that we need, and someone who looks like they are really getting close to stepping up now, which is brilliant for Leeds. Matteo Joseph, I've not seen enough of him. I know he's doing okay, and Max Dean seems still a little bit young there, mate. I think it's going to be difficult to really judge him, to be quite honest with you. Andy D says, the plans have been going through stadium upgrade, a slow process, but it started and it's on track. Morning from Madeira. Hello, John. We need to score early against Villa, says Ben. Yeah, talking about the Villa game. We're going to get onto that, mate. We are going to get onto the Villa game. We've got loads of content coming throughout this week. Happy Kilmore. 49ers are my team as well as Leeds for 30-odd years. Well done you, my friend. You've got some good taste. So what I can say is they're shrewd investment, but also very forward-thinking. Won't throw money about like some, but we'll sort Ellen Road and Thorpe Park out. And I think that's it, isn't it? I think we'd all be a little bit worried, especially with what's happened previously with Leeds United when it's come to throwing money at something. I think we do like that slow and steady progress, but me and like you and like your friends, like your cousins, your dad, whoever, your brother, your mates, we're all impatient. Because it sounds deep, but we've all got a limited time on this earth, and we want to see Leeds United prevail and be successful in this time that we have on planet Earth. I'd be happy in my lifetime with just an FA Cup for Leeds United, just to see us win something. That'd be amazing. As in something I'm not discrediting the Championship title, but I'm talking about major honours here. And I think that's why fans are impatient. I do hate that thing where it's like, oh, you've got to take time. It's a process and all this sort of stuff. It is, but I think with the money that we pay, the time we put into our club, we do deserve something back. And I understand that these are businessmen. I understand that these are people who are competing with other businessmen, and there's levels in business, there's hierarchies in terms of wealth. But it would be great, and I think this is what I'm looking at with the 49ers, and I mentioned this yesterday. If the 49ers are able to get us to a point where they're able to sell us on, because like I've just said, I don't think it's going to be massive investment in the first team. But if they're to get us to a point where Leeds are much more heavily valued, we are in terms of a global club where we're much more attractive. That is where I'd love them to sell us on to potentially a higher investor. Like Man City did all those years ago when they were acquired by the previous owner, then they sold to Khaldoon, who bought them, and you know, it's been an excellent story since then. But I don't think we're looking at the 49ers now and thinking this is us for life. You know, I think we're looking at the 49ers and hoping that they can build Leeds into a little bit more of a brand. Radrizzani's done the foundation. 49ers can build us into a bit of a brand, and then they can sell us on to someone who can actually invest a lot of money into the club, because Leeds is a gold mine. We've got fans everywhere. We're a massive club, and there's so much potential there. So that's sort of what I'm looking at, to be quite honest with you. Dylan says, morning all, listening from Ottawa, Canada. Incredible. Great to see. Michael says, I know this sounds crazy, but if we get a proper low risk of injury striker, I'd loan out Gelhardt to let some of the youth play those 4 to 7 games, and let Gelhardt play consistently for a season. Okay, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Does anyone know how to access Academy Dreams in the US? Kenneth, get a VPN, my friend. Get a VPN. I'm not telling you to illegally do that, of course, but yeah, a little hint there, mate. But yeah, VPNs are an absolute lifesaver. Anyway, let's get on to. I can see a lot of you asking me what on earth who this American is. It's the obvious one, Christian Pulisic. Yeah, apparently Leeds United are leading 3 or 4 clubs for the Chelsea forward. Apparently Jesse Marsch is a huge fan of Christian Pulisic, and Leeds are going to be one of many clubs going in for him in the January window. Apparently Chelsea are open to a loan move. Apparently Leeds United are looking at a permanent move as well. Obviously the USA star has suffered at Stamford Bridge in recent times. He's made 123 appearances for the Blues in all competitions. However, he only made 13 starts last season. This one's going to be interesting because we know Jesse's a massive fan. You've got Jack Harrison there, who's been part of the American ranks. You've got Tyler Adams, who's obviously there. Brendan Aronson. Is there potential that Kai Wagner is going to be coming in as well? I mean, there is a huge American contingency there. And Marsh has spoken earlier on about Christian Pulisic. He said that he's a big, big talent, the best in our country, obviously America. The expectations on him are high. He has met a lot of those expectations, but with this talent, people are demanding more. The interesting part of this is it's going to be fascinating to see why Leeds would be going in for Pulisic. Is it a direct placement for Dan James? We know his days are numbered at Leeds United. Is Willie Gnonto that replacement for Dan James? If you believe in this youth thing that Leeds are going down, Sonny Perkins, Willie Gnonto, Joe Gelhardt, Somerville, Greenwood, that would suggest that Willie Gnonto was the replacement for Dan James. However, there is still that, in my opinion, Leeds are definitely... It's not Willie Gnonto. That's my thoughts. I think Leeds are going to try go big again in January. They're going to fail with Cody Gakpo. That will never happen. We had Cody Gakpo. You can come back to this. Cody Gakpo is not coming to Leeds United. Guarantee that right now. However, is there potential for Leeds to make another signing? Is there potential for Leeds to maybe get someone like a Christian Pulisic on loan? It's a possibility. You've seen crazier things happen, haven't you? And especially with the American link that we have. Potential, the 49ers looking at this, and you've got to think about this as well. If the 49ers are going to take control of Leeds United, that American link again, they're going to want to be able to branch out. They're going to want to be able to look at the American market and think, right, okay, we've got Brendan Aronson, we've got Tyler Adams, we've got potentially Kai Wagner, we've got Christian Pulisic, we've got Jesse Marsch. There is a massive market, as we all know, in America to be able to exploit Leeds United to that market. Once again, globalise Leeds United. And America, if you crack that nut, then you've pretty much made it. So it's going to be fascinating to see that one. It'd be very interesting to see if Leeds would go balls to the wall for that one. If maybe like a Cody Gakpo didn't work. We know that Pulisic can play in a false nine. He's done it before. He can play on the left. He can play on the right. I understand that loads of you will be turning around and saying that's never going to happen. I can understand that. I am probably in that mindset as well. But with how Leeds are evolving, with where Leeds are going to be going, with the news this morning that Radrizzani's probably made a lot of money with that sale to DAZN, with the fact that there is a growing understanding that for Leeds to develop, the 49ers need to take complete control, with also the understanding that Radrizzani is probably looking to sell very, very soon. How do the 49ers make an imprint? Bringing someone like Christian Pulisic in would be a massive imprint. It would be a massive statement right straight away. And I understand that there's going to be many people saying that'll never happen. It probably won't happen. There's going to be clubs in Europe wanting Pulisic. He was bought for 58 million. 58 million, everyone. So his stock is very, very high. But you've seen madder things happen. And with the Americanization of Leeds United at the minute, that would be a perfect first signing for the 49ers. Really would be. We will relegate if we buy Pulisic. Maybe he's always injured. Nipper, 100%. I think he has got he's got a pretty poor injury record. I'm not saying it's the signing that I would make. I'm not saying it is the signing that Leeds United should make. But I'm saying in terms of branding the club, which is what Leeds are evidently trying to do, and we will be trying to do. You know, you've heard Radrizzani talk about it. You've heard Kinnear talk about it. You've heard Parag Marath talk about it as well. By expanding Leeds United, you've got to expand the players. You've got to grow the market. I mean, this my YouTube channel is a perfect example of it, right? The amount of Americans that have come over to this YouTube channel because the Americans follow players, i.e. Brendan Aronson, i.e. Tyler Adams. The amount of Americans we have on this channel now, we're not talking about expat Leeds fans who've gone out there and are living out there, who've been part of this channel from day dot. We're talking about new Americans who've just come to this channel. It's a massive growth. So, you know, they reckon that is the reason why Todd Bowley, the Chelsea chairman, kept hold of Christian Pulisic this summer. Because he wasn't going to play. He's not going to play for Chelsea. But the reason he kept hold of him is because he wants to branch out to America. There was interest, apparently, from Todd Bowley about getting Brendan Aronson before Leeds did. Because he wants to... The players obviously have to be good enough. But if they are good enough, two birds, one stone. His chair is broken and sitting. Yeah. Why are you standing up, Connor? I'm not allowed to stand up. Is that not allowed? Sometimes you fancy just standing up. You know what I mean? Sitting down, it's bad for the posture. It's not good for the posture. So I might just be standing up from now on. And you know, it means that you can see this guy a little bit more. It means that you can see the RG shirt a little bit more. Yeah. Sometimes sitting down, you know, it's quite nice moving around as well. You got a bit of a flow. Watching this delayed interesting about the 49ers. I imagine they want a new stadium. Yeah, facelift. Leeds do need a facelift for 100%. Ben says new stadium would cost ridiculous money though, would be mortgaged up to the hill. I don't think we're not going to get a new stadium. I think even planning permission in Leeds is going to be a big problem because there's no space in Leeds unless you go to the outskirts. If you do know Leeds. So there's no space. There's no space in around the club. Leeds are relatively central when you look at Beeston. So from a marketing perspective, they're not going to be building a new stadium. They're just going to be building on top of Ellen Road. But there is no doubt Ellen Road needs a facelift. Straighten up the pictures. They're both leaning towards. But it's the Grand Designs here today, isn't it? Grand Designs. Well, we'll get you round, mate. I mean, for me, it's just got a bit of a bend here. Look, it is perfectly. It's just got a bit of a bend. It's got Grand Designs. Like loads of people. If it's not my clothes, my hair, it's my designs. God, you guys, we're here for football. Okay, what else have we got on the agenda today? Marcelo Bielsa. Apparently, Santos, Brazilian giant Santos, are continuing to try and attract Marcelo Bielsa to their club. Obviously, Santos, huge club. I believe Pele's played for them. Neymar came through. Neymar came through the ranks at Santos. Huge club in Brazil. But allegedly, they have been going after Marcelo Bielsa. However, it's a huge story, obviously, in Argentina, but I think there has been a few problems with actually handing the full reins over to Marcelo Bielsa. And I think the club are obviously in a little bit of conversations with him at the minute and his representatives about what he wants, how he wants it. Now, it's going to be fascinating to see if we ever see Marcelo Bielsa in Europe again. I'm going to say no. And the reason behind that is because I think nowadays there is a hire and fire approach. I think we were completely unique in the fact that we did that with Marcelo Bielsa. We gave him whatever he wanted in terms of production at Leeds United, and it did give back to us. You know, he was what he did at Leeds United was unbelievable. We're back because of him. With all these things that we can talk about today, new players, new stadium, building up of the stadium is because of Marcelo Bielsa. So it's going to be fascinating. We were having a chat about it last night, and we're having a chat about on Generation Leeds on the Patreon account on if it is actually going to be able, he's ever going to manage in Europe again. Because I think, as I've just said, I think the modernisation of football has gone past Marcelo Bielsa. I think Leeds were almost the perfect club. You know, we were at our wits' end. I think Radrizzani was at his wits' end. He'd had so many failed campaigns, failed managers. Obviously, Heckingbottom was an absolute disaster, and he almost thought at that point, well, it's do or die here. I'll give it to this guy. I'll give him the entire reign of the club. They're a massive club. Let's see if it works. And it was a perfect concoction, us and Marcelo Bielsa. I don't think he will get that perfect concoction ever again, because I think club owners, quite rightly because it's their money, are nervous to give the full reins now to a manager. It just doesn't happen. As I said at the start, there's too much of a hire and fire approach. So I don't think now you are going to see anything like that ever again. So I think Marcelo is going to struggle to get a manager's job in Europe. Maybe South America, they give him a little bit more freedom because obviously down there he's got an immense reputation, and he has in Europe as well. But I think in and around Europe, obviously it's a lot more competitive, and there's more of a hire, as I said, a hire and fire approach. It's more quick over here as well. So I think he's going to really, really struggle there when it comes to being able to invest in another club. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Marcelo ever gets a club again, to be honest with you. If Marcelo managed England, I'd never miss a minute. Yeah, I mean, that's it, isn't it? I mean, even if he went to England, none of us would miss a minute because it'd make it fun again. I mean, when has England ever been fun, to be fair? But what an incredible moment that would be if he was to take over as England manager. It'd just be fun. It'd be fun. It'd be, once again, balls to the wall. You attack, we attack. God, that'd be great, wouldn't it? I would love to see Marcelo have a crack with City's roster. I think we were all in that ballpark, weren't we, with Bielsa? We all thought it'd be great to see him with better players, you know. But I think obviously City's, you know, look at even Phillips. You know, Phillips is barely going to play. Bielsa wouldn't want someone like Phillips round if he was in charge of the Man City roster, because there'd be hanger-ons, wouldn't they? He only wants a tight-knit squad. So City do have a bulky squad, so I think maybe he'd struggle there a little bit as well. Kevin says you need to paint the wall in Leeds colours as well, Connor. Blue, blue is a Leeds colour. Come on. But yeah, Gordon White says, "Morning, Connor. Sat up at Monk's Cross watching. What you doing there, Gordon? What you doing there, mate? A bit of shopping with the wife. What you doing? Monk's Cross in York. Yeah, I need to head up there, mate. I'm moving into a new flat very, very soon, so I need to get some essentials there. Guys, we're going to leave it there. We don't really have that. That's it. There's 430 of you in the building. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Please make sure you smash a like on the video. If you are interested, the debrief is going to be back tonight from 7. Myself, KG, Brownie, back together. The threesome back together, discussing the Villa game at the weekend, discussing what's been going on. I mean, we've not been, what we do, we're not just going to stress videos all the time, and I think that's the right way of doing it. When there's been gaps from the debrief, it's not because we don't want to do it, it's because we actually want to talk football. We want to talk sense, hopefully, with you guys. We don't just want to drag out content for the sake of getting out another video. So we've got a lot to talk about tonight. I hope you're going to be around to see it. Yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, everybody. Have a good day, and I'll see you tonight. Cheers.